talking about that power of our minds, our thoughts, our feelings, to be creative in this world, to be what we can, in our own capabilities, shift and change that allows us to change our experiences. We've been exploring, starting last week, our Unity 5 principles. They're sort of the core truth, the beliefs that we can all, at least in part, we never totally 100% agree in Unity, but that's the beauty of it, we don't have to. But sort of those core principles that say, yeah, we're part of the Unity New Thought movement. I looked at the first two last week, and just as a quick review, the first is there's one power and one presence in the universe and in our lives. That is God, that is good, and that is all present, all powerful. The second is that divinity is within all humankind. In fact, it's within all of life. What Jesus was able to demonstrate is the same power that we have to demonstrate in our lives. He was the example of what was possible for us. It just reminds us that if we truly believe God is everywhere present, then God is also within us. We can't be separated from that. And we have, at least in potential, the capacity to experience this same oneness with God that Jesus did, and to express that same energy of love that is God, that Jesus demonstrated, so that we too can make a positive difference in our world. So how do we do it? Well, that's where the third principle comes in, and that's what we're going to be starting with today. So the original principle, as it was written in the booklet, The Keys to the Kingdom, by Connie Fillmore, our co-founder's granddaughter, was this. It says, human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. It's a pretty heady statement. You know, it's hard to go, is that right? At Center of Unity, we describe this principle this way. We create our experiences through our way of thinking, feeling, and acting. I think what we've discovered over time is it's not just our thoughts. It's the energy that goes with our thoughts. It's the feelings. It is all of those things that move us into saying or doing something. For those of you who've been around for those few decades, how did we say it before? Do you remember? There you go, Debbie. Thoughts are things. It was very succinct. In fact, I found just recently, I think it was from 2002, a talk that I did that was entitled Thoughts Are Things. Because it's like, what does that really mean? Thoughts are things. For some of you, this might be a new concept. This idea is asking us to shift from life happens to me to life happens by me as we change our thoughts. Life happens through me as I become that channel for that good to be expressed, and life happens as me. That's when we can really own that divinity, that oneness within ourselves. This is not new. Charles Fillmore didn't invent this. In fact, this is ancient wisdom that has been expressed in different ways for as long as human beings have been thinking and feeling and looking to understand who they are and their place in the universe. The Buddha said it this way 2,500 years ago. He says, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, pain follows him. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness will follow him like a shadow that never leaves. Proverbs says it this way, as a man thinketh, from the King James Version anyway, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And women, it works the same for us too, just FYI. Charles Fillmore called this principle the law of mind action. And the way he described it was this: thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Yet, it's not easy to understand and to put this into practice. It seems quite simple when we are just thinking about it, but actually being able to embody it, I think, is a lifetime practice. Our thoughts, our feelings are also colored by our beliefs and our attitudes and our past experiences, and all of those aspects affect what Charles called our mental state, our feeling state, our vibrational state, if you want to think of it that way. And through science, we are discovering that positive thoughts and emotions give rise to healthy chemicals being released into our body, by chemicals that support greater life. And negative thoughts, they've been able to actually measure this, give rise to harmful chemicals being released in our body. We know that when we're stressed out all the time, cortisone gets released, and it can become harmful to our body if we live in that state. Our thoughts can depress our immune system, or they can enliven and strengthen our immune system. I know whenever I catch these stupid colds that I've been experiencing these last several weeks, it's usually because my immune system, and perhaps in reflection, my mind and heart are in a depressed state. It becomes open for that. When it's strong, when it's vibrant, those cold viruses may come by, but that doesn't mean they can find a home. So it's important that we pay attention to what those, and it's not just the passing, fleeting thought, it's those thoughts that we hold and that we think about and that run through our minds on a regular and consistent basis. So the question gets asked, does that mean that our thoughts directly create the outer events we experience? This is a hard one. Author Paul Hasselbeck, who is a Unity minister, he writes this. He says, truthfully, I cannot say with 100% certainty that we do not in some way contribute or cause all the events that happen in our lives. He goes on to say, what I do know is that events happen. Some of them I can attribute to an obvious cause, something that I might have said or did that triggered something. Many others appear as if I had nothing to do with it. I also know that while I may not have control over all the events in my life, I certainly do have control over my experience of those events. My experience of an event has to do more with the ideas and the beliefs and my past experience that I hold around this event rather than the actual event itself. If an event actually caused thoughts and feelings to arise consistently across the board, that whenever any event happened, we would all think and feel about it the exact same way, and we know that that's just not true. That different people having that same experience of a shared event will engage with it in different ways based on their own thoughts and beliefs and attitudes about it. We do have 100% control over our thoughts and our feelings and emotions. We may not be able to exercise that control all the time, but we have the power to do that. It is our creative power. Ellen Davenport, who is the author of the book, The Five Principles, and I recommend if this is kind of newer for you that you definitely read that. She is great at helping to explain this in a way that you can identify with. But she says this, so Paul Hasselbeck's not 100% sure, but it's possible. She said, it is my belief that the universe reflects consciousness, the whole thought and feeling process. Then there can be no random fate. Either we are a vibrational match to an event or we are not. And if we are not, we will not rendezvous with it. And if so, the reasons that we do will be as varied as the individuals who have that experience. It might be a rendezvous based on some deep, limited beliefs that we hold of unworthiness or not enoughness. Perhaps it's a soul contract that we've made to experience love in different ways. My answer, when I'm either grappling with this in my own life or when I'm trying to support people who are going through something that just seems unrelated or unjust that it's happening in their world, is I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if everything is causal and we are part of that causal, or if sometimes stuff just happens and we happen to be in a space to experience it. I don't know. That's a question that I live in all the time. But what I've learned is that investing all of my energy in trying to figure out why is often a futile waste of energy that I could be focused on what comes next. We create how we're going to experience our future by where we are and what we create in our present moment. So I encourage people that instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen in our world? It's better to ask, why did this happen for me? To ask the question and to be open to the gift that is showing up as a result. This deeper desire that our souls certainly have to connect with and to respond to it from a place of greater awareness, of greater love. The fact is that we can't change one thing that happened in our past. It's not possible. It's done. How do we use what we are experiencing as a result of that, or as a result of something that's going on, to grow, to evolve, to expand our capability of being that expression of God, that owning of that Christ within, or being a greater and greater match of unconditional love. And that's where our fourth principle steps in. So the fourth principle is this. And again, from the original Keys to the Kingdom, it says this. It says, prayer is the creative thinking that heightens the connection with God mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. At Center of Unity, the way we've stated, and this one has stayed the same over time, it says we have direct access to God through prayer and meditation. Well, and we have those actually opposite, but that's okay. That's all right. So prayer, in our understanding, becomes an opportunity to consciously change our thoughts and our emotions. We call it affirmative prayer because we are seeking to change our thoughts to reflect the highest vision, the highest nature that we can, to speak from the awareness of what is possible rather than what has been our current experience. And then meditation, for me, is simply letting go of all of those, what I call ego thoughts, the ones that are engaged in this world and determining whether something's good, bad, right, wrong, all of those aspects of it, and simply allowing ourselves, sometimes for me it's a surrendering process, just for a while to reveal the inherent oneness that already is. It's not until we can sort of let all that activity go and get quiet and be in that stillness that we can tap into the fact that we are spiritual beings who are having this human experience. There is a spiritual aspect to each of us, whether it is evident and a regular part of our awareness, or it's something that we have to go and seek out. It's always there. And so that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to see if we can't, for just a moment, as we move into our time of meditation, and we do a really short one here, but even short can be transformative. If you'll just give yourself even 3 to 5 minutes a day, it begins to shift your awareness, and you can then begin to develop and to experience life through this other part of your being. So as you just get comfortable where you are, you may want to just close your eyes so that you can let go of whatever the outer distractions might be in this moment. Just bring, to the best of your ability, your whole awareness into this time, into this moment. Whatever thoughts about things that have happened earlier or might be happening later, we just park them for a while. And simply focus on our breath. The breath is always flowing in and out of our body, and yet we are rarely aware of our breathing. It happens so automatically. And this is the same with our awareness of this inter-spiritual life and being that seeks to be in every part of our daily experience. It's always there. We just have to open ourselves and focus and be quiet enough to recognize it. Science tells us that God's love, the very essence of God, is in every atom of our body. Everything is made up of energy. And there are 6.5 octillion atoms vibrating in your body right in this moment. So see if you can't begin to direct your thoughts, your emotions, your belief that it's possible to enliven these atoms with a greater and greater awareness of them as God's love vibrating in you. Imagine each of them moving at a faster rate, because the vibration of God's love is the highest vibration. It is the vibration and the speed of light. See them moving, filling every part of your being, filling every part of your mind, expanding even beyond your physical presence. With every breath, there is a greater awareness of God's love alive and enlivened in you. Just rest in that for a minute. Invite thoughts to rise up out of that energy. And just know that that vibration will continue as you begin to bring your attention back to this time and this space, that you can return to this space of high awareness and enlivened love in every part of your being whenever you choose to focus your attention on it. And that the result of it changes your own thoughts, your own emotional vibration, your attitudes, your beliefs now become saturated in this awareness of your oneness, not with just God, but all of life, because all of life vibrates with these same atoms. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So the final principle, as if you'll shift with me here for just a minute, although they all interweave together, is this, and this is how it was described in the Keys to the Kingdom. Knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. Here at Center of Unity, we say, we can demonstrate now the good we desire. That is, we start and put it in action, whatever we know, and we do that through conscious practice in our lives. Another Unity thought as I was looking through these says, through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. But here was my favorite. I don't even remember what site it was at, so I couldn't tell you. I was just looking at different ones. But the fifth principle that they were describing was simply daily practice. That's how we live this, is through daily practice. For me, the way I've understood these principles, the way I've been able to sort of work with them in my own mind, is through the concept of energy. Science tells us that everything's made up of energy. Everything's made up of, well, and what we're knowing now is even more subparticles under the atom. We used to think that was the smallest, but now they're smashing them up over in Bern, and there's all sorts of wacky little things that are underneath that. I think they're all still God stuff, but there's more that we have to understand about it. Different forms are created depending on the rate that they are vibrating. So this whole table is not inanimate. It is made up of atoms. It's just vibrating at a very dense level. This is true for everything. Everything is made up of and consists of atoms that vibrate at a certain level that changes the form that they're in. But we, as human beings, as conscious beings, have the capacity to be able to change our vibrational rate. We have both within us the highest vibrational rate that there can be, which is that unconditional, purely God love, to the very lowest. And we have the conscious capacity to choose. Sometimes it's difficult when our unconscious is keeping us in a certain place, but we have, at least in potential, that capacity to do this. One of the books that I read many years ago, it was called Ask and It Is Given, and it was an Abraham Hicks book. Some of you may be familiar with it. It talks about this. It's like, so the whole book, the whole last half is how do you raise your vibrational energy? If you find yourself in a very low, and you can feel it. It feels heavier. The denser the energy, the heavier it feels, the harder it is. It's like walking through water, you know? When it's, the deeper the water is, the harder it is to walk through it. That you can think things, feel things, do things, these principles 4 and 5, in order to raise that vibrational match. You know, Ellen Davenport talked about this earlier. She said, I don't think anything shows up unless we're a vibrational match to it. And if we don't want those experiences to show up anymore, then we have to change the level in which we vibrate. Some call this the law of attraction. So, you know, whatever level you're vibrating at, that's what you're going to attract to you. I don't know exactly how it works. And I do know as I've worked with it, it has changed the way I experience life anyway. There is this seemingly natural attraction in life. And so, you know, for example, if you were wanting to attract a loving partner in your life, or perhaps heal a relationship with a loving person in your life, you need to raise the rate of your love vibration. Well, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you start becoming aware, where is my channel? I loved Mary Mann Morrissey used to say, what channel are you tuned into right now? Are you tuned into the love channel, or are you turned into the he done me wrong channel? And if you're in that he done me wrong space, it's really hard to attract a loving partner. You might attract another he done me wrong partner, but if you really want something that's greater than that, you have to then tune yourself in. You use prayer as a way, affirmative prayer, to continue to change your thoughts and your feelings about what it is that you are looking to create more of. And you want to do things that raise your vibration of love, whether it's hanging out with friends or taking a class that, explores a topic that you really want to, experience more of, or learning something new, or getting out into nature. Whatever does it for you, that's what you want to focus on. And as you get yourself tuned in, then naturally what you're looking for you become a greater attractor of that. If it's more financial prosperity, then you want to make sure you're tuning into the abundance channel and not the here's what's missing channel, the not enough channel. And I'll tell you, gratitude is the closest vibration to abundance. This is the best place to start. If you're living in a life where you don't have enough of whatever it is, shift your thinking and your thinking to being focused on and grateful for what you do have. It's our human nature to focus on that, whatever it is, that 5% or 10% that just doesn't seem to be enough. Maybe it's 30%, maybe it's even 50%, but you're not going to get there by continuing to look at what I don't have enough of. You got to shift it, and gratitude is one of the best ways to begin to do that shift. For those who have taken prosperity classes, sometimes it's releasing the clutter. Sometimes it's going out and giving. You might say, well, I don't have enough. Well, go out and give of your time. Go out and share your talents with somebody. It gets you back into that space of saying, I do have enough. And that then becomes a vibrational match to whatever it is your heart's desiring. It works the same with health. Health was a place that Unity focused on for a long time for a lot of people. You got to tune into that wholeness channel rather than into the, boy, this is what's gone wrong in my physical body or in some other aspect of my life. To use affirmative prayer to love your body, that's what Myrtle demonstrated. Just by simply loving the body in all of its defects, if you want to call them that, and all of its challenges, had a transformative power for her. Take a class. We're offering, Abida is going to be offering Atomic Habits, which is about, a really scientific way in many ways of shifting so that what you are thinking and feeling and doing reflects the kinds of health that you're seeking. Whatever way enlivens, raises your vibration, increases the chance that you will become a vibrational match for more love, which is ultimately what it all boils down to. It's love or it's fear. So may you be enlivened with the energy of love and all that it brings in this coming week. It is our opportunity now to share of our financial good. We are so grateful and blessed, and we continue to be open to all the channels of good that flow in and through this ministry. For those of you who watched online, I just want to, a little shout out. If you loved what you heard today and you don't already contribute regularly, you can go to Venmo, you can go to our website, you can send us a check if you want, but we are grateful to receive all that we do. And we take what we offer today, either the energy of it, if we give through those electronic waves, or it's not our Sunday to share, or what we offer today. We hold it in our hands and in our hearts and bless it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
All right, why don't we all go ahead and stand up together? Let's join hands and do our peace song.
we go into this day, into this week, seeking to raise our vibration and to be that expression of love into the world, we go, knowing our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a great week.